always on time.
Man. Man, woo! All right, that's what. That thing, that gets me going every goddamn time. Woo! Man. Oh, say it ain't so.
Here you go.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. This is Joaquin Thompson with the Daily Bread Radio Show. I'm your host, Joaquin Thompson, and we're going to get into our show this evening. I'm very excited to be here. Like every Thursday, I'm like, sometimes I'm dragging. Today I was dragging. I'm not going to even, perpetuate a lie. I was dragging today, had some stuff on my mind, I was thinking about it. But then I said, you know what, man, tonight, the show come on tonight, so I'm going to be all right. Once I get to that show and we get everything, locked and loaded and start to talk about the things that we're going to talk about, I just get super duper excited. So tonight, I got to be really efficient with the time because next week is Thanksgiving. So next Thursday, I want to make sure that everybody spends some quality time with their families. And I was trying to be on, but my producer, he wanted to slack off because I told him, I said, by the time people eat, by the time they eat and watch the Dallas game, we good. We could just come on in and run the show, but he don't want to do the show. So we're going to figure out next week what we want to do, which show we want to do, and how we want to do it. But we won't be on the air, so we'll find a show. We'll do a replay of some things that we could play a show that we had in the past, so that way the listeners will have something to listen to in the event that they want to do that after they finish their turkey, or if they're not having turkey, if they're vegan or vegetarian, if they're having tofu. Whatever they're going to have for Thanksgiving. Oh, you look up, tofu.
Everybody do tofu.
They do, man. Everybody don't eat meat like.
Don't eat turkey.
Man, I'm not going to stop at you today.
Oh, Lord. Man, you got me your video in there.
Oh, man, they can't see you. Let me turn it this way, because I already told them they'll never, ever see you. Last week I saw one of your shoulders and I was like, we got to go back. We got to go back and edit that out, boy, because they'll never ever see my producer. I promise you that's what's going to happen. But this evening we got quite a few things that was on my mind. So I'm going to jump around, but got my book of the week as well, and I think everybody will enjoy the book of the week. I see people are starting to join. Hey man, we praying for you, brother. So if I don't know if you're near a phone, if you can hear the sound of my voice, that's a good friend of mine, and that's his older brother. And Farron, to be honest with you, I was talking to Skilly last week, and because it is a gospel-based show, I said I was gonna put in a segment for the sick and shut-in. Farron, you my first, you the first person, man, that's gonna be on my sick and shut-in list, man, because I was concerned about you. I talked to Anthony. I'm glad the surgery went well. I'm glad that you went and sought medical attention. I'm glad that you pushed on through that pride that men have when it comes to health, and I thank God for you. So on a really, really serious note, I'm glad you're on the mend. I wish you a speedy recovery, and I'll keep you on the sick and shut-in list. Yeah, definitely applause. And Farron is a true blue Trojan, so I was hoping that went the Reigns and Reebok game that caused all of that, but like I said, I'm glad that you're on the men's, and if there's anything that I can do to help you out, bro, I would definitely. And I go Skilly, that's his little brother, and So, Skill, I told him, Farron on the sick and shut-in list. I know you just joined, but your big brother on the sick and shut-in list this week. So we're going to be praying. There you go. We're praying for him. I see my lovely wife just joined, Tanya Alford Thompson. Think the world of her. And I saw Melba Ramsey as well. Joe Cotton, that's my roommate. Man, you must be in half court this evening because he's an attorney. So, oh my goodness. Boy, we on the road. Boy, Mark Watson joined, and I ain't even got into my topic. So tonight is the night, brother. Mm-hmm. Tonight is the night. So I know a lot of you all may be wondering, like, man, he's sharp. I know that's what you're thinking. I'm just saying. Because when I put it on, I say, man. So I know y'all thinking, like, why is he? What is it? What's going on? So for those of you all that don't know, tomorrow, November the 17th, 1911 is when our illustrious fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, was founded on the campus of Howard University. So tomorrow is our anniversary of what we call Founders Day. So in honor of all the Omega men in your life, those that are living and those that have already moved on into Omega chapter, I want to honor them by wearing my royal purple. Notice I said royal purple and old gold. So not purple and yellow, royal purple and old gold. So if you have any, Omega men in your life, make sure that you shout them out tomorrow. And because we'll be celebrating all throughout the country and all throughout the world. Met a brother recently that was from Korea. He was from the 13th D. So that was enlightening to me. But shout out to all of the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Rudy Roo. Wait a minute. Wait a minute here, boy. I'm about to keep the producer. But let me. This producer something else, man. That's something else. Hey, now don't. You going too far. What I'm gonna do with this dude, man? What I'm gonna do with him, man? What I'm gonna do with him, man? Hey, like I said, y'all never see my producer, but he gets some points tonight, man. So shout out to all the bros. So tonight I'm going to jump into our topics, and one of the first things I want to talk about is the power of being single-minded. Because as we go into 2018, this is something that is very, very important, something that I've been thinking about. And many times in life, we try to, what I call, do too many things. Like we're just trying to just do too much. So it's been proven, it's a law, it's like the law of gravity. You really have to get to a point when you're trying to accomplish something, you really have to get single-minded. And single-minded means that's the only thing that you're doing. And I've been guilty of it at times because, you're just trying to do too much. You're really trying to do, A and B, and I'm gonna do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, I want to go back to school, I want to raise kids. So, sometimes you just have to get tunnel vision and single-minded because the benefits of being single-minded, and once you get that tunnel vision, whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's run a marathon, lose weight, become a bodybuilder, learn a new language, whatever it is that you want to do, become a minister, get on the deacon, whatever it is that you want to do, open a business, get out of debt, whatever it is that you want to do. When you get single-minded means you wake up on it and you go to sleep on it. You wake up on it and you marinate on it all day, good or bad. Because the seeds that you plant in your mind, that's what you become. And that's what we talked about in the book last week, and that's in the Bible. as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So being single-minded means some things you're going to have to let go, and some of those things might be some people. Because sometimes people can pull you and drag you and, you know, just really make it difficult for you to be single-minded. Because you saying, hey, man, I want to, you know, get my diet right, and then here comes somebody with, you know, bucket of chicken. Hey, man, I'm trying. So sometimes you got to just like, you got to chill out, or if you know you got a certain weakness for certain things in life, cigarettes or alcohol or whatever it is, you know, whatever your thing is, you know, too much TV, too much fast food, whatever it is, you got to get single-minded so that way there is no room for distraction, because you're saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be single-minded about it. So, and the thing that I find with a lot of people is once you become single-minded, then you start to have progress, because you made a decision that this is something that you want to do. This is something that is going to be, it's important to you, something that you want to achieve. And other people see that in you as well, because it's nothing worse than somebody telling you what they're going to do or what their aspirations are. And then the next time you talk to them, they're doing something else. And then the next time you talk to them, they're doing something else. It really makes you start to question whether or not they're doing what they say they're going to do, what they're committed to. So get single-minded, get focused, and just stay on that task, because if you can do that, that's what's going to bring you joy, peace, happiness, and it's also going to give you the ability to acquire the things that you want to acquire. Now, I would say a segue, and staying on that same topic, is one of the things that I want to talk about that's in the same vein of being single-minded is, you know, just looking at the end of the year, into 2017, because one of the things I've been thinking about is the way that we end the year. Many times the way that we end the year has an impact on the whole next year, like all of the following year. The way that you end the year, the things that you focused on, the single-mindedness, when you start getting into November, December, the way you start to look at the new year, you know, are you upbeat about it? Are you, you know, excited about the new year? Or are you kind of like looking at it from a, you know, perspective like, oh, is this more work, more bills, more drudgery, more, you know? But if you excited, if you like, oh my goodness, God's giving me another chance to do something bigger. I'm focused on this, you know, this dream that I have. I really wanted to do thus and such. Then it can really impact the entire upcoming year. But a lot of times when I meet people and, you know, we just have conversations, it's something powerful about just words that people use. So again, single-mindedness. When you start thinking about 2018 is going to be here less than 60 days. I mean, the day is the 16th. We have the remainder. We got next week is Thanksgiving. The following Friday, next week is Thanksgiving. The following Friday is December 1st. Boom. So you only got 30 days after December 1st, because that's December 31st, New Year's. Boom, you into 2018. So it's just like anything else that you get ready to get into. If you know you're getting ready to go into a new year, start being single-minded about what you want to achieve in 2018. And to take it a step further, don't just think about what you want to do. Get you a journal. Like this is my own little personal journal I received from one of my instructors when I was taking a course. And she was impressed upon me the importance of journaling. So, you know, I journal from time to time, but it's something where all of the studies have shown that if you take 100 people, only 5 out of 100 that say they have a goal, they have a single, you know, focused vision on something, only 5 people out of 100 on average write their goals down. So my challenge to you is, if you are thinking about 2018 and you have that single-minded focus about something that you want to do, achieve, be, become, then you need to write it down and keep that focus. Write it down, keep that focus. And when you write it down, put it up somewhere in your house where you know you're going to see it in the morning and at night. because it should be the first thing that you think of in the morning after you said your prayers, because that's always first, or you've meditated or what have you. But when you get ready to start your day, you should be on task as, okay, this is my goal. And when you go to bed at night, you need to be that needs to be the last thing that you see, that you're thinking about when you go to bed at night. Because when you go to sleep, what happens is, a lot of times people think they're sleeping, but you also have the ability to tap into your subconscious. And the subconscious is where ideas and dreams and solutions come from. Because many times when we're asleep, and that's why it's so important to get peaceful sleep, a lot of times when we're sleeping, you have problems. If you go to sleep with problems on your mind, or stress, or things that are like non-positive, then sometimes you'll get a vision, or you'll get I guess you would say, a wake-up call almost, as to what the resolution is to that problem. Because what's happening is your subconscious mind is working on that problem while you're sleeping. And something will come to you like, boom, when you wake up in the morning, oh, that's what I need to do. I need to choke that joker when I see it. So it's something, it's something as simple as that. But, you want to make sure that you stay single-minded. And think about 2018. 2018, you're going to be a year older. You're going to be a year further along in your journey, a year into your walk. And it's an opportunity for you to start anew. So don't go to, my biggest thing with church, since we're on this topic, my biggest thing with church is this. Don't just, like some people say, play church. Be about it, right? You really want to be about it. So if you go and you in the word, you hear the word, my thing has always been the next step to hearing the word is to become the word, to be in the word. So don't just talk about it, be about it. Just like when we was younger, like, if you got a strong, faithful walk, then walk that walk. Walk that walk at all times so people will know and people will see the glory of God in you, and that way you can impress upon, something on some other people that may be looking for that support or that extra piece of, I guess you would say, positive energy about what they can and can't do. So just, keep those things in mind. I know I've digressed a little bit, but it all comes back to being single-minded. Because for me, I'm going to tell you about me in 2018. 2018, in February, somewhere around February the 20th, sometime between February 20th and the end of February, I'm going to be celebrating my 1-year anniversary on this show. 1 year. So that means at that point, I would have done somewhere in between 48 and 50 shows. That's my goal. And I would have highlighted somewhere between, 45 and 60 different books in a year. And I would have been staying on task for one solid year, 12 months, 50 weeks. It's 52 weeks in a year, but I know we had some weeks off and things. My producer sometimes, he don't want to work on Thanksgiving, that kind of stuff. So, I could have had more shows, but my producer, he want to, do things his way. But, just make sure that that's what I'm doing. So if you want to know what I'm doing and how I'm planning for 2018, I'm already preparing for some different things that I want to bring to the Daily Bread Radio Show. And those things are starting to manifest. So another piece of good news that I want to share with you is this. We've been talking about social media, and we have Facebook Live, which we're always utilizing and leveraging Facebook Live. So you can catch us live on Facebook, or you can go back and listen to the shows. The other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to get into a position where I could remove that ownership from if something happens and something happens to my, Facebook page, where would people go to see the Daily Bread Radio Show? So that was one reason. The second reason that I wanted to do this, make this second move, was for just exposure, just pure and simple exposure. Because many times when you're doing things, when people see you doing it for a sustained period of time, then they start to get interested, like, well, who is this person? And then you start to have a voice that starts to come up amongst all those other voices out there. Because a lot of times people just posting one video about something they had, they might have had a wedding dance, they may have had, some flip that a person did, or some dance, or, a barbecue, but it was just one time. So what I want to do is create a presence on YouTube. So I'm here to let all of you all know you can definitely share this information with your friends, your family. I'm gonna post it on my Facebook page, and you can share it with people and like the Daily Bread Radio Show page as well. But now you can go to YouTube. You go to YouTube. You can do a search. See, my producer ain't even know that. Go on out to YouTube, and yeah, yeah, buddy. I thought you thought you knew. But go out to YouTube. When you go to YouTube, just do a search. Put in Daily Bread Radio. You can put in Daily Bread Radio or Daily Bread Radio Show. And I've uploaded about 12 different videos. I have another maybe like 18 that I need to upload because it takes time for it to, each time there's upload videos. But I am in that process. I have content up on YouTube. So I was very excited about that because that means that I'm growing. It started off with we just talking about it. Excuse me. It started off with us just talking about this show. It started off with, hey, let's do Facebook Live, and then we started doing Facebook Live. Now it's to progress. Now we're on YouTube. So after YouTube, we'll be on something else bigger, like Sirius Radio, or, get exposure for some of the local radio stations, get another, radio deal or TV show deal or something. But it's all about that single-mindedness and pushing yourself out there so that way, you can be exposed to the world so people can see what a great job you're doing in whatever endeavor that embarking on. But just stay consistent, stay single-minded, and get that exposure. So that way it's like a calling card, because people, giving out a business card is starting to become obsolete, but you can always tell people, say, go to YouTube. I got a bunch of content on YouTube. I got stuff on Facebook. I had to be careful with that Instagram. I went on Instagram, I had to get my son. I was like, man, what? I thought I was in the wrong place. So I haven't put up an Instagram page yet because I'm not sure if I can work in that space. But that's what a lot of people do is they have an Instagram page, but Instagram is that's a whole nother show. So I'm not even gonna go into that. But definitely check out YouTube, and you can check out some of my content on YouTube, and you can like the page, views, make comments, what have you, and we'll continue to progress on the Daily Bread Radio Show. And one of the things that I want to talk about too is I want to hear from the viewers. So the number to the radio station is 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. And staying on that same topic too, 2018, what type of topics would you like for me to either research or talk about or have a show on? It can be everything from mental health and how mental health impacts debt, or vice versa, how debt impacts mental health. I know that's something that we've talked about in the past, and it was something that was on my heart recently. But all the listeners may have, the listening audience, you may have different topics that you want to learn more about. It might be investing, it might be ways to start investing, it might be any number of topics. So I want to hear from you all. You could call into the radio station. You could leave comments, go out to YouTube, watch a video. You can leave comments like, hey, this would be a great topic, high school students and personal finance or financial literacy for people that are, recently released from being incarcerated. Anything that you want to talk about, I will take the time to research it if I can bring it to the listening audience, because each time that I come on the show, I think it's me being able to help somebody with something, and I'm putting it out into the universe. So definitely hit me. You can also email me at dailybreadradio@yahoo.com. Daily Bread Radio Show. Daily Bread Radio Show at yahoo.com. Daily Bread Radio Show at yahoo.com. You can send me an email.
You said Yahoo.
Yahoo. At yahoo.com. That's a new one. Y'all got me choked up, man. I'm so nervous. All these people on here. I said Yahoo. Man, you don't supposed to be making fun of me. I'm the host. But yeah, definitely on Yahoo. Daily Bread Radio Show at yahoo.com. You can email me or call into the show and let me hear from you. Let me know what's on your mind, what you're thinking about, and we'll take it from there. The next topic that I want to talk about this evening has to do with the future. And this is a serious topic, so I probably won't be doing a lot of joking on this. The future of Black economics I would say in the country, but really it should be within the world. The future of black economics in the world. So I'm not going to limit ourselves to say in the U.S. because recently I was doing some research, and one of the things that I would encourage you all to do is to go out and look up Dr. Claude Anderson. Go to YouTube and pull up videos on Dr. Claude Anderson. I promise you, if you listen to this brother and the information that he's giving out, it will change your outlook on black economics, because he is able, this is an older gentleman, he's been in government, he's had some very highly appointed positions within government. He was an advisor to the Clinton administration. He's been advisor to governors throughout the nation. And he's worked on a lot of different initiatives. So he knows he has an inside view of what's going on from a government standpoint, but he also is an exceptional historian about blacks in this country and economics and the history of it. So I'm gonna give you a quick little tidbit that I was listening to his video and he turned me on to, because I was listening to the video, I was like, I had never heard this. And you all, it would resonate with you all as well, because many times when growing up and even now, a lot of people say, a lot of African Americans will say, hey, I got Indian in my family. I have Indian in my family. A lot of people like to, oh, I got good hair. I got Indian in my family. And I'm not joking about it, I'm being serious, right? You've heard a lot of people say, hey, I got Indians in my family. But this brother broke this thing down so deep. He said, do you realize that during slavery, one of the biggest owners of slavery was Indians, right? When he first said that, that blew my mind. I was like, oh my goodness. The second thing he said was this: do you realize that of the slaves that tried to run away, and we've talked about that when we talked about Sambo, he said of the slaves that tried to escape the plantation and run away to the north, do you realize that the largest number of slaves that were killed, captured, or scalped were by Indians? So when slave owners put a bounty out, they would put bounties out to Indians and say, hey, for every slave that you capture, we'll give you $25. If you capture a runaway slave and bring him back to our plantation, they were talking to Indians, we will give you $25 per person. So now Indians, you've seen them Westerns like I've seen them. Indians can track you. They be all on the ground smelling and grabbing stuff. So a bloodhound don't have nothing on an Indian, right? So Indians chasing African Americans or blacks or Negroes that are trying to escape the plantation. And then they added another piece to it. They say, well, hey, if the runaway slave puts up any type of resistance, or you find that you can't bring them back alive, kill them, and we will give you $20. We'll give you $20 if you bring the scalp of a slave back. For every scalp that you bring back, we'll give you $20. So it gave me a totally different perspective. And the third thing was this: even after the Emancipation Proclamation, when Abraham Lincoln, put in the law that slavery was abolished and now it's law, they said they had to go out into the Midwest, or I guess you would say going out west, Oklahoma, past Texas, in those areas where they had slaves in parts of Texas too, Indians. They had to go out there and tell them, you're gonna have to let these people go, because 3 years after the abolishment of slavery, they still had slaves. They still had slaves. So you have to watch when you're going around talking about Indians, because Indians played a big part in the deaths of people that were trying to become free. So definitely go out and Google Dr. Claude Anderson. And from an economic standpoint, this brother breaks up, he breaks the whole landscape down, so he breaks it down so succinctly that it will have you, when you finish watching it, it will marinate with you. You would definitely, it will resonate with you because it will make you think like, wow. Because one of the things, another topic that he talked about was our ability as African Americans, and we've been talking about this, starting a business. He was like, if you're going to start a business, first of all, you have to establish a community of people that's going to support your business. Because if you don't have a community to support your business is going to fail. I said, oh my goodness. Now, you see how I had to move on that. I mean, I respect him, but I'm hoping, I guess the key word is hope. My hope is that we can continue to start businesses and do business with one another so that way we can circulate our dollars in the black community and prosper. But according to Dr. Claude Anderson, he said that's pie in the sky. He said it ain't gonna happen. So definitely take some time out, go to YouTube, look up Dr. Claude Anderson, because he's gonna enlighten you like he did me on a lot of different things that's going on in the world, and especially with African Americans and economics. So definitely take some time out to go and check out Dr. Claude Anderson. Another person I want you all to listen to or look up is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boyce Watkins is another gentleman. He's a finance professor where he teaches and has taught finance, the subject of finance at the college level for over 20 years. So he understands finance, and he understands personal finance, and he understands financial literacy, and he understands investment and all that. So he has a wealth of information that he's sharing on the internet as well, and he's always he's tied into a lot of the key leaders like Minister Farrakhan and Dr. Claude Anderson and, people of that nature. But the thing that got me to really thinking was this. I was like, Dr. Claude Anderson is, he's up in age. I don't know his exact age, but I can tell that he's an older, brother. So the thing that you have to start to think about is in our community, and this is a question I have for you all, and you can call in if you want to comment on it. In our community, in the African American community today, it's estimated that we have over 50 million African Americans in this country. Over 50 million African Americans, men, women, and children in this country. My question to you is, how many African Americans do you know that are speaking or teaching and empowering on the subject of personal finance or financial literacy in the black community, specifically for African Americans? I couldn't think of but 5. I wrote down my 5 and maybe 6 because I added myself to the list, and I have a good friend of mine. He has a show, maybe I'm speaking into existence, Tony, but Minister Antonio Eubanks, he has a show on financial literacy, and I know some other groups that are out there like Flipology and some other groups in and around Atlanta. But I mean, out of 50 million people, say if it's 10, that's a lot of work to do. That means all of us are responsible for about 5 million people getting the word out, getting them educated, and letting that information be disseminated amongst our group. It's the same way that we spread negative news, right? The first thing that you run into somebody, they haven't seen you in a long time, the first thing they want to start talking about is all the negative news about John Doe or Jane Doe. Oh, you heard about, he got locked up. Oh, you heard about her? Oh yeah, this is happening. And we need to stop that. The time for that is to stop. We need to stop that because we are becoming a self-perpetuated group of people where we speaking all this negativity into existence. I saw a post recently on Facebook where, one of my good friends, she asked the question like, when did we get to the point where it's difficult to even share positive information with people because you don't know how they're going to take it. Like, are they going to feel some type of way because something positive is happening because you being blessed in a certain type of way? When did we get to that point? Because when we were little, people used to, we relished on that kind of stuff. If you found out your neighbor, got a new car. I remember my neighbors used to get a new car. Everybody would come outside and we would be circled around that car like, man, y'all got a brand new car. Man, y'all got a brand new cup. You know what I'm saying? Let me open it up. Let me look at it. That was a big thing. And everybody was genuinely happy. Your neighbors was happy. Your friend, man, let me drive it. We went, no, back up. Don't. We went like that. But now you share information with people. People are, saying a little slick stuff on Facebook and, why you, and it's like, my goodness, man. Work on yourself and get into a positive space. Just go back and be single-minded. Like when we started off at the top. Be single, just practice. Just practice giving out good, positive energy all the time and help somebody. Help somebody come up. It could be something as simple as, just dress the part. Put on some good clothes. You may not have a whole lot in your pocket, but just, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. Like Dion said, if you dress good, you play good. If you play good, you pay good. So, whatever your phrase you want to use, but just let's help some people, man. And it don't have to be everybody, but help one person. Treat somebody to something. Say something positive to somebody as opposed to all this negativity. And sometimes don't say nothing. Just be a listening ear. Because sometimes we want to talk so much, but just listen. Sometimes a lot of people got so much stuff bottled up in them. They just want somebody to listen. Just be that listening ear for some of these people that are here in our community so that way we can, help to heal, And that's one of the things that I'm looking at now is like, we need to start healing. We got some broken people. And the thing about it is hurt people. Okay? So I'm going to let that marinate with you all for a little while because hurt people. So, get yourself in a good space where you're like, hey, I'm on some good footing. I got the Lord on my side, or I got the word in my spirit. It ain't nothing that you can say that can break me down. And then that way you can become a blessing to somebody else. But you can't become a blessing to somebody else if you got all this negative, oh, why I ain't get that job? Oh, why I ain't get that car? Oh, why I ain't get that weed?
Weed.
I didn't mean to say that one. It just slipped. That was a Freudian slip. I'm sorry. But, it's just real. Sometimes people, think like that. So, but just think about that, man. Let's be a lot more positive. So, the future of black economics and the thing that I want to talk about, that is, let's start thinking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into the future. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into the future. Not just day-to-day stuff, right? If you're 30, start thinking about when you get to be 40. What do you need to be working on now so that way it would be in place? Because the stuff that you have in play right now is based on all of the decisions that you made 10 years ago, 5 years ago. The house that you're in, the car that you drive in, the health that you have, the diet that you eat, all of that is based on decisions that you made 5 years ago, 10 years ago about what you wanted your future to look like. Don't worry about what's behind you, because what's behind you can't change it, but what's in front of you, you have everything. You are the author and the artisan of your future. You can create the type of future that you want to have. If you want to have something that's just blissful, you traveling all over the world, you meeting all kinds of people, you meeting with kings and emperors and powerful people. If that's your thing, then you can do it in the future. But if your thing might be sitting on a hammock, rocking back and forth with a nice cold beer and reading a book or just reminiscing about something, that might be your thing. But whatever it is, your future is up to you. So take hold of your future and do the things that you want to do and start thinking about it from an economic standpoint. If you don't have life insurance, and I'm going to have a whole show, not to digress, but I am going to plan a show to do one specifically on life insurance. Everything that life insurance can and cannot do for you. This is very important for the African American population and our people, because I read some information recently. I'm not sharing it now because I'm like literally studying this topic. And I want to bring it to you, and I want to bring the right experts to you in the right time. But the first thing I would say is if you don't have life insurance, get some life insurance. Start there. If you don't have talking about the future, if you don't have life insurance, get some life insurance. So that way when you transition or you graduate to the next level of life or the next level of being, and you leave those loved ones here, leave them with something. And so that way you can start teaching them now what to do with that inheritance that you're going to leave for them. But we got to get out of the habit of leaving nothing, leaving dust. Leaving shoes and pants, and that's cool and all for sentimental value, but we got to start leaving something that our future generations can build on. Not no shoes and pants and watches and that kind of stuff. No little car. No, we need some finances. And not only do we need finances, but we need to be teaching our children and our children's children what to do with it. So that way they won't in turn get all of this money. Then all of a sudden they think they're a rapper or some high-paid athlete and just blow the money, right? You want your money to be working, but you have to teach on that. So, man, if y'all know a good producer, if you know a producer, call into the show, 678-381-1973. Don't send me no email. Call into the show and let me know, because my producer is sending me these little notes, and we ain't even gonna do that. But so let's think about the future of black economics. So we have a lot of work to do, a lot of things, but things like life insurance, planning your retirement so that way you don't get to a certain point or a certain age and you're struggling and you're older, because you're not gonna be able to work the way that you can right now, or you can't work the way that you could when you was 30 years old or 40 years old. So let's start planning for that. And that's the future of black economics. Just take some time and spend in that space, because it's very important. People are living longer. So don't listen to these people like, oh, it's over. We only 50. I have a family member that reached out to me recently, and she's 79 plus, 80 plus, right? Reached out to me, and she wanted to talk to me about personal finance at her age. She said, hey, I want to know what I need to be doing in order for me to improve. And she's 79, 80 plus. That's 30 years older than me. So this thing about personal finance and financial literacy, this is something that you're going to take with you from this point throughout the remainder of your life. So you need to become a good steward of the information so that way you can just be a blessing to somebody. You won't be in a situation where you're struggling or being non-positive because you haven't taken the time to put those pieces in place. So that's the second topic, the future of black economics. So just marinate on that for a little while. The next thing I want to talk about is, I had to check the time. The next thing I want to talk about very quickly, but this is a very, very serious topic. We're going into 2018. We've gone over the different steps on how to do this next topic, but I need for you all to start to take it very, very seriously. So as you see, I'm very clean tonight. I'm very, very clean tonight, if I do say so myself. That's a song from Jay-Z. If I do say so myself. But here's the thing. I want you all to go home, and I brought something with me tonight that I want to show to you all. I brought it in. Look, I got a shovel with me, right? I want you all this is a metaphor for what I need for you all to do. It's time for us to start digging out of all of this debt. Because this debt is not only is it burying individuals, it's burying our young people, it's burying the seeds. Listen to what I'm saying to you. It's burying the seeds of our family members that have not even come into existence yet. Meaning people are putting off things like getting pregnant because they got so much debt. They are so deep in debt that they don't want to get married. They don't want to have a child. I was listening to a radio show the other day. A young lady was talking about, she was asking a financial planner, what's the quickest way for me to raise $1 million? And he just kept saying, well, it takes time. You have to wait like 10 years. You're going to have to invest. Come to find out, it wasn't that she wanted to raise $1 million. She heard from her fiance at the time. They eventually did not get married. But he was telling her he worked on Wall Street and he was a finance banker. And he said on average, it takes about $1 million to raise a child, which is true, right? It is very expensive to raise a child. But guess what? She put off becoming pregnant because of the amount of debt that they had and where they needed to get out of. Get out of debt. Use this shovel and get out of debt as soon as you can, because the thing that debt does is debt, and this is in the Bible, it says that debt makes the borrower slave to the lender. Debt. That's in the Bible. So what I need for you all to do is start to get very, very serious about, the first thing you need to do is stop. As they say in Mexico, alto. We need to stop creating any new debt. Start planning for your purchases. Start thinking about things in your future where you know you're going to have to buy something. If you're going to need to buy a car in the future or some other, start saving for it. But we cannot keep charging and charging and charging and using all these credit cards and getting into these little slick games, 0% interest for the first 90 days and all of this. Cut it out. We got to cut that out, because in order for you to be a good steward of the finances that you're being blessed with, you got to get out of debt. The other thing about getting out of debt is going to give you a voice. And what I mean by giving you a voice is, wait a minute, it almost seen you. The thing about debt, it takes away your voice. Meaning, if you work for someone or something is going on, and something happens and you don't like it or you don't agree with it, it ain't too much you can do if you're in a whole bunch of debt. If you're in a whole bunch of debt and you don't have your own income, or you haven't taken the time to start building into a business, it ain't nothing you can do but take it. So what I'm saying to you is we need to start getting more serious about getting out of debt, getting our families out of debt, getting our children out of debt, getting our children's children out of debt, and start showing them a different way of life. You ain't got to have all that stuff. You need peace of mind and have some money saved up. Some, like my friend said, some FU money, right? And it's a gospel show, so it's forget you, right? So that way if somebody say something, you say, forget you. I got money coming in, my bills covered. I already know I know exactly how much I need to make in 2018 to make this thing keep going. So I may not need you, and you're not going to be disrespectful to me just because I got some debt. But you get rid of that debt, and you got some money coming in, it'll change you. It will change, not only will it change, it will change your legacy. It will change your children's children, children's children. Your great-great-grandkids will be impacted by that. So now we need to get serious about it and stop, man, go in your garage, get that shovel out, bring that shovel in the house and say, hey, look at your wife, or look at your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your significant other, your partner. Look at somebody and say, hey, we digging out. We out. We digging out. We ain't going back. We digging out. So if you need this shovel, if you need to borrow my shovel, you call into the radio station, 678-381-1973. I can get you one, or you can use this one, because I'm going to keep using mine too, because I got some digging I want to do. I ain't quite where I want to be. I mean, I believe in being fully transparent. I'm not going to be up here and be no hypocrite like, oh, everything's great. Oh, the Daily Bread radio show. No. I'm working on mine too. I'm working on mine every day. But I can promise you this. There will be a day that's going to come in the not so distant future. I'm going to come on this show and I'm going to tell you all, it's over. It's done. Just like they said, it's done. I want to be able to say that it's done. And then we're going to have that conversation. So, get your shovels out. Let's dig out. So that way you can stop being the entree, because these people are eating off of us. I'm going to throw some numbers out there to you so that way you can kind of conceptualize what I'm saying. Say you do make $100,000 a year. You're doing pretty good. You make 100 G's. You 6 figures. Hey, you in your thing. You make $100,000. The average person, listen to this, the average person annually is paying 35% in interest on outstanding debt. 35% of their income is going towards paying interest on debt that they have, outstanding debt, right? That's 35% of your income. So let's do the math. $100,000, you're paying $35,000 in interest. In interest. And you might say, nah, it ain't quite that much because, people not in that much debt. I'm gonna throw out some other numbers. Let me finish this while I'm going, and then I'll let you know. 35% in interest. That's just interest. So we're not even talking about principal. Interest payments, 35%. Trusted source. Do your research. That's 35%. And on average, the average American is spending 30% of your income is going to the government. when you get your check and that money come out first before you get your, your net or them, what you have left. So now that $100,000, it's then went down 35% and then went down another 30. So now you paying somewhere around 60 to 65% of your money to interest and the government. So you left with 45%. So now you got $45,000. Now, what that means is this. They said on average, now this is research, so you don't believe me, go do your research. They said on average, the average worker in the U.S. works from January 1st to, listen to this, from January 1st to August 31st to pay interest and income to the government. And then everything after August 31st, September. So you get to keep September, October, November, December. That's you. You can have that. But from January to August 31st, you're going to pay Uncle Sam and interest on all that debt. So this is simple. Cut the debt out. You're going to make money. 35% of that money coming back to you and your family. Let's keep it in the family. Just cut it out. Dig out, cut it out. Stop being an entree, because every industry, every bank, every mortgage company are eating off of the African American consumer. And I'm going to throw another one out there for you. And I know we get close to time, but I'm going to throw another one out there on you. And I'm going to let you marinate on it. Black Friday. Black Friday. 65% going to interest. Well, back it up. 35% going to interest. 30% going to the government, right? Black Friday. Black. Listen to Black Friday. And we already in the hole. Already in the hole. Now we getting to buy some stuff because it's on sale. It ain't on sale. It ain't on sale. If you don't have the means, if you haven't planned for it, don't go out there and start spending it's just $1,000. I'm gonna put it on the card. I'm gonna pay it off at the end of the month. You ain't been paying it off at the end of the month. That stuff been rolling. You paying out all this interest. Just leave it there. Forget the goddamn TV. Forget the TV, the clothes, the shoe. Leave all that stuff there and just go home and finish eating that turkey and have a good time. Do like they used to do back in our neighborhood. Play some cards. Just invite some people over to your house. Bring out a deck of cards and start playing some goddamn cards. Spades. Some tonks, some spades, some knuckles, some I declare war. Ain't gonna cost you no money. Don't go out there trying to floss, because you're just gonna make it. You're gonna be miserable in 2018 when the bills start coming in and you short. You're already short, but you got to go in and do the legwork. Know where your budget is. Know where your money going, and get on it. Dig out. Stop being an entree. Stop letting other people eat off of you. Eat your kids. Eat your kids. Stop it. It'll be just like somebody. You want to let somebody come up and start disrespecting your kids or disrespecting your wife or your husband. But when you owe money to people, that's what they do. They disrespect you. Where our money at? You ain't paid. You behind. Hey. But when you don't owe nobody nothing, then we going to get there together. When you owe nobody nothing, you have a totally different demeanor. Hey, you eat like a king and you sleep like a baby. Eat like a king and sleep like a baby. No more depression, no more anxiety, no high blood pressure, none of that. You're like, I'm good. So, you would never see my producer. I'll make sure you don't never, I'll edit you out on Facebook. I'll find out how to edit you out. But, so that's it for the Z. We got a few more minutes, so brought you all a powerful book that I want to share with you all. So this is the book of the week. Now, next week is Thanksgiving. So on a serious note, I want everybody within the sound of my voice and everybody that listens to the broadcast, even on a replay, even when you go out to YouTube now, you can go to YouTube and catch some videos of the Daily Bread Radio Show. I'm going to upload the rest of them and get them out there, man, so that way we can sow a seed and I can share it with the world. People to know what we're doing, some good work we're doing over here. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Teresa Haywood and Rhonda Holt, two good friends of mine from Jacksonville. They entered the contest to raise money on the completion scholarships, and they won a pair of tickets to the Dallas Cowboy Atlanta Falcon games. I know we got a lot of Cowboy fans out there. It was a great game, great time. They came up from Jacksonville, we hosted them, my wife and I, we had, broke bread with them, had a good time, and they really enjoyed the stadium. It was about the event and the stadium, and they were able to help us raise some money. We're going to continue to raise some money in that space, because if we waiting on somebody else to raise money to help educate our kids, it ain't coming. So let me just put that on video so that way you all will know it ain't coming. It ain't coming. We got to help our own. So if you got kids getting ready to go to college, kids in college, the most critical time is not getting into college, it's that last semester when you get ready to get out. So we got too many kids that are ready to get out. They met all of their expectations, they've cleared everything else, but they got that little bit of outstanding balance, $5,000, $4,500, $3,800, $6,000, that's between them and their degree. And we're going to bridge that gap. So kudos to Teresa and Rhonda for, purchasing and well, not purchasing a ticket, but making a donation to the foundation. So we still have that going. You can go out to GoFundMe, College Completion Scholarships. GoFundMe, College Completion Scholarships, if you want to make a donation. It's 100% tax-free. So definitely do that. But the book of the week, this is a powerful book. This book is, a lot of people saw the movie, but didn't read the book. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is take some time, maybe even over the holidays, take some time out and read the book. This book is 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. 12 Years a Slave. Forget the movie. I saw the movie too. The book, it don't do no justice to the book. You read the book, you will get the essence of what this brother was doing, his makeup, his demeanor, his mindset, his skill set. It's powerful. And you'll learn some more about slavery. So real quick, I'm going to share something about, because we're going into the holiday season. So I'm going to share with you all a quick little excerpt about respite. And respite is when you give somebody a break from something, a respite. Listen to what he says about respite. The only respite from constant labor for the slave has been through, the only respite for constant labor the slave has through the whole year is during the Christmas holidays. Listen to this. This is back in slavery now. Epps, which is the master, allowed us 3, others allow 4, 5, and 6 days according to the measure of their generosity. Meaning, if you had a good master, he might give you 6 days off. He might give you 5 days off. He may give you 4. But this particular slave master that Solomon Northup was owned by gave them 3 days off. Out of the whole year, out of 365, he gave them 3. So 362, they were laboring. They are glad when night comes, not only because it brings them a few hours of repose, but because it brings them one day nearer to Christmas. It is held with equal delight by the old and the young. Even Uncle Abram ceases to glorify Andrew Jackson, and the Patsy forgets her many sorrows amid general hilarity of the holidays. That's just a small excerpt, but I've read additional research about during the holidays, that was the only time the slaves got off, and many of the slaves, they did other odd jobs. They may go perform for some of these other, slave owners. They could earn money on the side to help buy their freedom. But then some people just, what do? Sit up in the cabin and drink. This is real talk. This is in our history. Some people didn't even take advantage of that. They was like, there's no way out. There's no way I'll get out of this. And that's what happens. So like Harriet Tubman said, I freed 5,000 slaves. I could have freed another 10,000 if they knew they were slaves. So only thing I'm sharing with you all is let's wake up. Let's be cognizant of the times that we're in, what we're dealing with, and the game that we're in. Because everybody's in this game. Whether you want to be in this finance game or not, you are in it. You're in it. So if you're going to be in it, at least learn the basics of what to do in it. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening. We had an awesome show. Make sure, single-mindedness. Think about the future of black economics. Get this shovel out, go in your garage, get that shovel out and start digging yourself, create you a plan for 2018 and start digging out, getting out of debt. And lastly, you want to make sure that you give some thought to Black Friday, because it's the reason they call it Black Friday. And they waiting on us to make it good for somebody else. But I'm tired of being an entree. I'm ready to eat something else. I'm tired of being eaten. The weak, this is what somebody told me this weekend. I'm going to leave you all with this quote. The weak are meat and the strong will eat. The weak are meat, M-E-A-T, and the strong will eat. You all have a blessed Thanksgiving. Much honor and praise to God for bringing us here. And I want to thank everybody that tuned in this evening. Give it some thought. Stay tuned. We won't be on the air next Thursday because my producer don't want to come in and put in the time. He want to sit around, eat turkey, watch the game. You know, if it was up to me, I would do it. Now y'all don't mess around. I may end up doing it from the house. Hey man, hey, and don't forget about them brothers tomorrow. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. November 17, 1911. Hey, I love y'all. Man, don't be turning off my microphone. I'm just like, hey man, I love y'all. Peace. Peace. Hey, turn my microphone off, man. Yeah, never ever see you, man.
You know what?
Man, you crazy. Bro, they still popping love, man. I can't turn it on. I can't turn it on, man. Turn the microphone on. Turn the microphone on, man. Turn the microphone on. If y'all know a good producer, 678-381-1973. Call me. Call me. I'm going to get rid of this joke. Call me. Call me. Hey, he out. If y'all know a good producer, y'all call me 678-381-1973. Hey, don't cut it off. Don't cut it